Hello, welcome to Morris Money, where we give you stock tips in under 5 minutes. I'm your host, Morris Willie. See the beautiful lady? She thinks she's in a car ad, but she's really not. She's here to remind you to subscribe to Morris Money. Today, I'm talking about Inozyme Pharma hitting a new 52-week high off of their earnings and what you need to know from the earnings report. Let's start off with a comment from the company's Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of the Board, Douglas A. Trico. I apologize if I butchered that. We are continuing to advance INZY 701 and look forward to initiating a pivotal trial for pediatric patients with ENPP1 deficiency in the third quarter of this year, subject to receipt of regulatory approval. These patients represent a population with high unmet medical need, and they and their caregivers eagerly anticipate the planned clinical trial. He continued to say, "Our team is executing well, and we will continue to collect clinical data from our ongoing trials in adults with ENPP1 deficiency and ABCC6 deficiency, which will provide important insights into the clinical effects of INZY 701. Next, let's look at some business highlights. They had a regulatory update. The company has reached an agreement with the European Medicines Agency, the EMA, on a pediatric investigational plan for the study of INZY 701 in pediatric patients with ENPP1 deficiency. Next, the phase 0.5 clinical trial of INZY 701 in adults with ENPP1 deficiency. The company dosed the first adult patient with ENPP1 deficiency in an additional dose cohort designed to investigate the potential for once-weekly dosing of INZY 701 in the ongoing trial. Next, the phase 0.5 clinical trial of INZY 701 in adults with ABCC6 deficiency. The company announced the first self-administration of INZY 701 in the open-label phase 2 portion of the ongoing clinical trial. Next, let's look at anticipated milestones. First, for the ENPP1 deficiency, initiation of Energy 1 phase 1b clinical trial to evaluate the safety, tolerability, pharmacokinetic, and pharmacodynamic profile of INZY 701 in infants. That is expected to be done in the second quarter of 2023, and I apologize if I butchered those terms. Second, initiate scientific advance process with EMA regarding our comprehensive development plan covering all group ages, again, expected to be executed in the second quarter of 2023. Next, interim data from the phase 2 portion of the ongoing trial in adults, expected to be completed in the third quarter of 2023. And finally, initiation of pivotal trial in pediatric patients subject to regulatory approval, and that's supposed to be completed in the third quarter of 2023. Also, you have the ABCC6 deficiency. Their interim data from the phase 2 portion of the ongoing trial in adults is expected to be completed in the fourth quarter of 2023. Finally, let's look at the first quarter 2023 financial results. As I've said in a previous video, their cash position and financial guidance is actually quite well. The cash equivalents, and short-term investments were $130.9 million as of March 31st, 2023. Based on its current plans, the company anticipates its cash equivalents, and short-term investments as of this time to be able to fund the company into the fourth quarter of 2024. Next, the research and development expenses have been about the same year over year, with the company spending $11.9 million on research and development for this quarter compared to the $11.8 million spent on research and development around the same time last year. General and administrative expenses were $6.5 million for the quarter compared to $5 million for the prior year period. The increase was primarily related to expenses recorded for the transition and separation agreement entered into with the former chief executive officer. And finally, why the company's stock hit a new 52-week high today was actually their net loss. They had a net loss of $17.4 million, or a 40-cent loss per share, but that beat estimates, where estimates expected a 45-cent loss per share. So definitely some good news. and definitely great to see that the company is still on track with the milestones that they previously had for guidance, and that their current cash position is still going to hold them through until the fourth quarter of 2024, meaning that hopefully we shouldn't see any raising of cash or diluting of shareholders anytime soon. Before we go though, one thing I did note though is that if you look into the numbers, this time last year the company had 23.6 million shares outstanding. Now they currently have 43.7 million shares outstanding, meaning that they have bought in a lot of shares and diluted shareholders over this past year, but hopefully we won't see a 20 million share increase anytime soon. Let me know your thoughts on the company's quarter and new 52-week high down below. Please don't take this video as financial advice, and thank you for watching Morris Money.